Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
All right, well, we here. We are here. Somehow, some way, we made it here this evening to the post show of Hell in a Cell 2021, put on by WWE. Good Lord, have mercy. DaReaL Big E, your host this evening, joined by my co-host, Rob the Ambassador. How you doing?
Doing good. Good weekend. I'm not going to say too much about the show. We'll talk about it.
All right. And we have a special guest, the most frequent, MJ Book, host of the Countdown Podcast 2020. I'd ask how you doing, but I see your face. So I'm just going to say thanks for joining us.
This show is brought to you by alcohol. Sometimes you need it when you watch WWE. Good to be here, though.
Yes, indeed. If you were in touch with Twitter during this broadcast, you definitely saw the tweet I put out, and you probably saw the YouTube video I put out during the show. Because, I have expressed in the past, before this show was aired, that I had zero interest in this show. And everybody kept saying, oh, well, just wait and see. No. Sure enough, it's a massive letdown. So we also were given one of the matches away on SmackDown, which I'm actually thankful for now. I never thought I would have said that, but the fact that they gave us that match on SmackDown made this show shorter. And this show was already 3 hours. And I can't believe that they somehow stretched this show out to 3 hours. I go back to 2.5 2-hour shows. There's no crowd. There's no reason to have this show this long. And all y'all really are doing is stretching out these feuds. You ended one feud. That's about it. So, anyway, and the night did not start off very well. Technical difficulties. And honestly, I'm with Rob. I kind of was hoping, they done messed up, and hey, we get out of a show. I'd rather watch Annihilation than this shit. But was not to be. Broadcast made it to Peacock.
The cock.
Yeah, the cock.
Rock.
Seriously.
I'm not gonna insult Triple H with that.
Sucks, man. Apparently there was a kickoff match that I missed, and I am ashamed of myself because it was with my favorite, the goddess, Mandy Rose, taking on Natalya. I missed this match because I figured there was no point in me watching the kickoff for this, because it's look, you're forcing Hell in a Cell on us with certain feuds that didn't need it. Bobby Drew, I'll say, yeah, you could do Hell in a Cell for them because it's kind of the they've been going at it since Mania. That makes sense. But and maybe even, and I said this in the group chat earlier, you could even had Flair and Rhea Ripley in Hell in a Cell. That would have made sense. But Bianca and Bayley, they could have put on a 5-star match, and I still would have said it doesn't make sense for them to be in Hell in a Cell yet, because they just don't have the feud didn't have the reputation. So, any event, let's look at the card here, and let's As we said before we came on here, keep it short because it definitely was not sweet. And sharpshooter, Rose submits, Natalia wins. She's one half of the women's tag team champions. I'm not really surprised. So, and I'm going off of what shout out to Bleacher Report. I'm going off what they have here. They gave this a C plus. I don't know if you two watched this match, but I did not. Like I said, so I will turn it over. Did y'all watch this?
I did.
I did too.
Okay, so book.
I love Natty. Really don't care about the two blonde bimbos. But this was with the new grading system, TV quality. I mean, it was. Natty always impresses me with what she's able to do. I feel so bad that so many people don't think of her in the ranks of women wrestling and through history. She's one of the all-time best. She just didn't have a lot of great dance partners when she was coming up. Glad to see her with a belt, though. Glad to see that she got this win. But at the end of the day, I just didn't care. Other than the fact that Natty won. I was glad she won. Other than that, TV quality.
Okay.
I'm in agreement with Book. I'd go TV quality. And Big E, maybe you need to explain to our viewers the new grading system so that way they know what we're talking about here. But this was something I would expect to see on Raw. It was nothing special. And I'm glad Natty won. Unlike Book, I do like Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. I'm not sure that they're the most talented wrestlers at this point, but I like it that they're trying to do something with them. I think there might be something there. I actually thought that Mandy would win because then that might set up a match between these two teams. I know we've seen that before, but Natty won, so I'm assuming that's probably the end of this feud because what's the point?
True. Yes. Also, we do have a new grading scale. We're retiring the old A, B, C, D, F scale. Now, that does not mean that we cannot compare the new grades to the old grades, and definitely not taking away Book's famous catchphrase. So I just want to put that out there because that's eventually going to be a shirt. Okay. So instead of, like I said, the normal scale, we are now doing starting from the top. So the best of the best is going to be instant classic. You didn't have a superb, pay-per-view worthy, TV quality, middle of the road, some bullshit, and GFY, which means if you don't know, go fuck yourself. Okay. So those are the new grades. Now, I'm pretty sure you can probably deduce what those grades would be if they were the letter grades system still. So, but I wanted to start a new system where the grades were more descriptive and we could bounce off each other better with that. So that is why the new system. So in any event, moving right along, pull up my notes here. What little notes I did have. Getting to the main card, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship Hell in a Cell match. Bayley versus Bianca Belair. Watch this match. I had high hopes. Now, I knew kind of going into this match that, I don't think this is going to stack up to what Bayley and Sasha did. Excuse me. I just don't. I don't think it's going to be that. I didn't go in the match with that high expectation. I just wanted them to entertain me and put on a decent match. I feel like they put on a decent match. I don't know that I was entertained. I thought it was still watchable. It was still been good for, if they didn't do Roman and Ray, which is probably better than this. This was still. I gave this TV quality. The Bianca Belair one with the KOD on the ladder. I thought that again. While I thought this was a better match than their last one, I still think there's something missing. This is her first time inside Hell in a Cell, and there wasn't. This match didn't have the heat that a Hell in a Cell match is supposed to have. And I think that's the biggest problem. So I wasn't emotionally invested like I was with Sasha and Bayley, and that's the biggest flaw with having a whole pay-per-view sitting around Hell in a Cell. So, given what they were given, what they did, TV quality, in my opinion. Rob, what'd you think?
Well, I went pay-per-view quality, but I was disappointed. I think the problem with Hell in the Cell matches is that they're happening too frequently. Okay, it has its own pay-per-view, and we've seen so many of them to this point that unless you're very creative with what you do in there, they're almost always a letdown. There's a certain level of brutality you expect with these matches, and you don't always get them. You don't always get, I mean, when they put you in this structure and they call it Hell in a Cell, I mean, they're building you up to think it's going to be something pretty brutal. This wasn't. And I just think Hell in the Cell would be better if we just saw it every once in a while. If we didn't see 2 or 3 of these matches a year, maybe if we saw 1 a year, because we've seen a lot of things done inside the cage. And I think people are just running out of ideas of what to do when they're put in these matches. I think this was the case here. There just wasn't anything special about it. There wasn't anything particularly brutal, but it was okay. So I gave it pay-per-view quality, but it was hovering in TV quality territory.
Right on.
All right. Obviously, listeners know I'm huge with Bayley. I have been loyal to Bayley. But this was some bullshit.
Wow, okay.
Some bullshit. I am gonna popular take, and I don't care. Bianca Belair, or Belanca, as Michael Cole likes to call her. I'm just not impressed. I gave her middle of the road at WrestleMania. Her last Bayley match, wasn't a fan. They didn't gel, and they didn't gel in this. And the fact that it was in Hell in the Cell, for me, made it more apparent they don't gel. You said, Big E, that you had some high hopes for this. I didn't. I saw what they did last time. They do not gel. They just don't gel. They just don't. I don't want to see them in the ring anymore. And hopefully we never do. But the way Bianca was talking at the end, sounds like it's not over yet. This was just, they just are not meant to be facing each other. And I can't blame Bayley the most for it, because she's gelled with so many people. And yet the last several matches with Belair, I have not been impressed. For me, that belt has got to get off of her waist. I'm sorry. She is just not impressing me with her reign. Or she needs to find an opponent that she can be matched up well against, because she just hasn't. Not against Sasha, not against Bayley. Even if you can't match up against those two, who's left on Smack? Who's left? There's nobody left over there. So that means what? She has to go over to Raw? I'm just done with it. And this was some bullshit, and the reign needs to end.
Oh man.
I see Book's point there. I like Belair. I like Bianca. I was glad when she won, but I wonder if it just all happened too quickly for her, and maybe the moment is too big for her being the champ. We'll have to wait and see. One thing about the match, and I forgot to mention this, I thought it was kind of unique how Bayley did find a way to use Belair's hair against her. We haven't really seen anyone do that before. And so I thought that was unique. But yeah, Belair has to really step it up and start showing me something as the reigning champ. I agree with Book on that.
I like the throw against the cage Bayley did when she did that kind of leapfrog over her and kind of power bombed her up against the cage. I did like that. That was kind of cool. But I'm sorry. Just some bullshit reign.
Yeah. I couldn't go that far. I thought it was still, like I said, TV worthy. But coming up next, we had Cesaro versus Seth Rollins yet again. I was with this feud at WrestleMania. I believed in it, but this just feels like you're stretching. Like a lot of these matches, they're just stretching out because I don't know if they're just holding out hope for the audience to return, and they're like, we don't want to do anything new yet, or what. But and coming into this match, I thought, well, okay, well, maybe I may not want to watch it, but I mean, it's Cesaro and Seth Rollins. They'll probably put on a decent match. Well, I could see the effort. I could see the they were trying and they were doing their best in the ring, but I just couldn't care less. For some odd reason, I don't care about this feud. There's no stakes. I don't have a reason to. Oh, Seth Rollins doesn't like the guy because he doesn't deserve to be in this spot. That's not a reason for me to be invested. I'm sorry, I can't get behind that. That's just like with Marvel and their villain problem. Oh, I want to take over the world. I want to destroy the world. Yeah, so does everybody else, motherfucker. Okay. This whole thing with Rollins being power hungry, it's unoriginal. And y'all know I don't like the Friday Night Idiot to begin with. So the fact that, that I don't care about this feud, it just didn't help it. But I still gave it middle of the road because the work was there. And it probably would have gotten TV quality if not for the finish. Finish was shit. So that's where I'm at. Book.
Again, love Cesaro.
Oh man.
And my fear after the Roman match was that he would start getting buried. I'm hoping that I'm still wrong on that. This doesn't help because we know we're going to have to see them again. They're going to face each other again. Hopefully Cesaro wins that one because if he doesn't, he's officially buried. But the work was there. I do give it a middle of the road. But it was after that ending, which was just weak, I was flirting on making it a little lower. But I was flirting with it. It was really stupid.
Yeah.
But the work was there. There wasn't a lot of passion tonight as far as making me feel anything. I did at least feel a little bit here, but not enough to save it from getting past middle of the road. I'm still in hope that Cesaro is not being buried. It will be the biggest crime in recent history for them if they bury that man. I like Seth Rollins, and I like Seth, but to me, Seth didn't need the win. I just don't think he needed it. So, middle of the road.
Yeah, for me, it was TV quality, something you'd see on SmackDown. These two are both good workers, capable of much better. Right now, I'm not worried that they're burying Cesaro because the feud is 1-1. And that's where look, a feud means these guys are going to wrestle a few matches probably. So they're 1-1. So now the next one will be the rubber match. And that's kind of intriguing. If Cesaro loses, I'll worry that they're putting him back to where he was, because if you're going to give a guy a big spot, you have to have him win in big spots. So when they do this match between him and Rollins again, and we will see it again, maybe even at SummerSlam or maybe at the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Cesaro does get over. If he loses that one, then I'll agree with Book that they might be trying to bury him and take him down a peg. But right now, I'm still with it. I still think they believe in him. But as far as this match, sorry, man, TV quality, nothing special. I felt like a lot of these matches were just the wrestlers mailing it in.
I do, however, I want that Cesaro jacket that when he wore out to the ring. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I want that too.
Yeah.
That was dope. And speaking of Money in the Bank, we did get a promo for that show Sunday, July 18th, Fort Worth, Texas, which is also my mother's birthday. So, I don't know if you'll be able to attend, Rob, but if not, we understand.
What you mean? In Texas or in Chicago?
No, I mean, like, attend the show, because I know that. Or we can do the show the following day. That way you can be a part of it. That way,
I see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how that goes, but I think I'll be good to go.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. I'm not going first on this. I refuse. Rob, just go.
All right. Well, look, we have a new grading system, and WWE. Look, man, they didn't take long to get us to go to the lowest common denominator. Oh, everybody knows I don't like The Fiend. I've never liked that gimmick. And they got Alexa involved. And I thought that was a waste of her talent. Obviously, her best talents are in the ring. Now, she's wrestling now, fine. But this gimmick of her running around on a damn swing set, talking back and forth with this doll, it's stupid. Come on, it's just stupid. So she gets into this feud with Shayna Baszler. And I've been critical of Shayna because I don't think she's very good in the ring. But then the booking also hasn't really helped. So how do they try to fix that situation? By putting Shayna in a feud with Alexis and this damn doll, Lily, which leads to this match. In addition to this feud, you've got Nia and Reginald kind of on the outskirts, all involved in this. This match was, I'm just going to go fuck yourself. That's our lowest grade right now. WWE didn't waste any time taking us there. And so I'm not going to waste any time using our new grade. This match was terrible. It was ridiculous. There was a segment in the match where Alexa apparently had some powers over Nia, who was outside the ring, and hypnotized something and caused Nia to slap Reginald. Nia didn't know what she was doing. She was all disillusioned and shit. It was stupidity. It was stupidity. Everything involving this feud, involving The Fiend, involving Alexis, it has to go. It is absolute garbage. It's terrible. It's a waste of time and talent. Alexa Bliss can go. We know she's a great wrestler, but this character on this swing set, running around with this, talking to this doll, it's terrible. It's terrible for her. It's terrible for Shayna. It's terrible for everyone involved. And I'm not even a Nia or Reginald fan, but it's even terrible for them. Just get rid of it. GYF, go fuck yourself. That's what this was. Why?
Well, I've liked the Alexa gimmick. I think it works, but with The Fiend on her own, there's some problems. I don't think it works when she's on her own. I do think it's better with The Fiend, which The Fiend will be back within the next few months. He'll be back. He's already being advertised.
You're not helping.
Yeah, he'll be back. Sorry, Rob. I'm sorry. I know you don't want him back, but he's going to be back in the next few months, probably by SummerSlam. This, I'm going to just stare at you all so I can have the mind power so you can all say it with me. I'm staring at you all. Are you all saying it with me? I can't hear you, so I'll have to just guess you are. Say it with me. Say it loud. Say it proud. This was a fucking F. Plain and simple. This was bad comedy. Now, I love crazy chicks. So, Alexa, the whole thing is hot to me. But I was laughing. And it isn't the good laughter. This was the bad laughter. Shayna's, and I love Shayna Baszler. I feel so bad for her that she got stuck in this stupid thing, feuding basically. She's feuding more with the puppet or the doll than she was Alexa Bliss. I feel bad for everyone involved. I mean, if I have to feel bad for Nia Jax, that's just horrible. That I have to feel bad for her. I mean, I've never felt bad for her. I feel bad for the chairs she sits in, but I don't feel bad for her.
Oh man.
This hurt my eyes at times, and I hate agreeing with Rob on this one topic because I actually love what they're doing with Alexa Bliss, but by herself it just doesn't work. And they do need to get rid of it, but they're not going to, especially when Fiend comes back, because we have to see a resolution there. So this was just a fucking F. This was just bad.
Okay. I was gonna come on here. I was gonna bullshit and try to get riled up, but I can't even do it. I mean, Book said it all. Book said what I was going to say. When Alexa was with Fiend and she was like a pawn that he had control over, it made sense. It was fine. It made sense for the feud with Braun. And you could even say it made sense with Randy. But what the machine, what WWE is doing is saying, hey, we're giving Bray Wyatt a break because of the passing of Brody Lee, but we still need this gimmick to be on TV. Well, Alexa was part of it. Let's put her in the damn role. The problem is she's not Bray. She didn't come up with this. So instead of the things, the segments being something that she came up with, like Bray did, she's being scripted. And where they put the swing set is clearly the backstage area. So there's no reason to think she's in this unknown area. You can clearly see the ring behind her and the LED boards, and everybody walks back there. Reginald's been in there, Nia's been in there, Shayna's been in there. It's just it's really lazy as hell is what it is. I mean, look, this is I was nicer than Rob. I was nicer than Book, I think, somehow, some way. But this is still some old bullshit. Okay, straight up. I like Shayna. I think she's doing the best she can with what she's being given. But damn it, it's painful. It's cringeworthy. It's all the above. And you got the worst actress in the whole show trying to act like she's possessed. That just does not fly. And since when does this nigga Reggie have a French accent?
Jesus.
Like, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work at all. Like, I just can't buy it. Because I've seen his social media. I'm like, you ain't... You ain't French, bro. Like, Stop it. What did what was his title when he was with
Sommelier.
yeah, somebody I think I broke book.
Yeah.
But look, this dude is also a hoe because he done went from what's
Carmella.
her name? Carmella to trying to follow Sasha. Now he following Nia and Shayna. I mean, this how you move around, bro. So yeah, so this was all some bullshit. All these characters need to go away for a really long time. Repackage Shayna to be on her own and be a badass and just go in the ring and kill people. That's all she needs to do. She don't need Nia fat ass walking behind her. She don't need Reginald, French tap dancing like Sammy Davis behind him either. Like, stop all this shit, okay? The sideshow shit, stop.
Oh,
It's not working.
And it's
Not
not
working.
rocket science. We all know Shayna
It's not.
Baszler's background. We all know that she's a decorated mixed martial artist. So
very
go
good
with
one.
that. We know she's a badass. Don't try to mess with. Don't try to fix what's not broke. Go with that. Use it.
Agreed. I feel bad for. I feel bad for Shayna. I mean, you did this with Brock. You've done this with Ronda, the MMA monster. Why can't you get this right with Shayna Baszler? It's
not rocket
amazing.
science.
But I do have to add, save it please for the year in review show. Holy shit, man. I think I broke something. I did not expect you to say that. And it caught me completely off guard.
I've been holding that in for a while.
Wow.
Every show I get one usage of that word. So I'm
not saying you're wrong. You're totally right. It's just I didn't expect you to say it.
Oh man. Okay, that's enough of that. All right. Let's get to what I feel like was the highlight of the show. And that was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, which still ain't saying much. But I know I can count on these two to, at the very least, do some really good work. They have the history, but this is, again, lazy. They showed the video package with Captain Crunch doing the throw punch to Kevin Owens. I don't know, man. I thought he was with Apollo. Why is he doing Sami Zayn's bidding? I haven't kept up as much with SmackDown, so maybe I should. But I don't like it. I think if you really had a feud for these two, like something real, that'll be on board. I know these two can work. I'm not worried about that. But with wrestling, there is more than just having two good workers. You have to care about the feud. You have to care about the match. You're supposed to be emotionally invested. And I think I made it pretty clear I was not emotionally invested in this entire show. So at the end of the day, though, I thought these two, like they did at Mania, did the best they could. They put on a really good match. I think they know when they go out there, these two go out there, it doesn't matter the circumstances. They're going to do their best. I give KO kudos for selling the throat still and coughing during the match. I give him kudos for that. I give Sami Zayn, I actually was into his heel persona in this match. I buy him as a heel. I do. He does that very well. Yeah, and I'm shocked he actually won. I really am. He won with the haluva kick, but I guess it does make sense. Kevin Owens was not 100%. But I gave this straight up pay-per-view quality. I thought, as far as I'm concerned, best match on the card. Straight up. Best match. That's how I feel about it. Book.
Sammy makes this gimmick work. I don't think anybody else could do what Sammy is doing with this gimmick and make it work. Everybody else, if they did this, it would last maybe a month or two and it'd be over. Sammy is able to get this to work somehow. He makes me believe there's a conspiracy. But this match, I couldn't get invested either. I just did not care. And I don't know why. Maybe it was the shit that we'd seen prior. Maybe it was tied into the technical difficulties, which started the whole damn night. I gave this middle of the road. I respect the work they did in there, but for some reason, I just couldn't. I found myself just not caring. And I was trying to, desperately trying to care because they can go. But that's part of the problem. I've seen them in better matches. I've seen them go in far better matches than this, and it just didn't work. I'm glad Sammy won, but of course that means this feud's going to continue. Going to see them again, probably at Money in the Bank or definitely or SummerSlam, one of the two. More than likely Money in the Bank, but for me, I have to give this a middle of the road type of a match, and it's a shame because they can go, but maybe this speaks to the quality of what this pay-per-view was, because hell definitely is a great word to describe up until this point, because I kind of felt like I was in a loop of hell watching this pay-per-view, but middle of the road.
Well, for me, I think you both have points here. We know these two can go. They have a long history together, but I'm a little tired of these guys, seeing these guys wrestle. I've been watching them wrestle each other since NXT. Okay,
Yep.
they're on the main roster now. They both have been there for a while now, and this feud is just old to me. But the work was there. But like you both said, I'm not really invested because this match to me felt kind of thrown together. Like, okay, we need another match. So what are we going to do? Well, hey, okay, let's put Kevin Owens and Sammy together. We know they always put on decent matches. Let's give them that one. I agree with Book. I like Sami Zayn in this character. I enjoy him because Sami Zayn is one of the few characters really defined as a heel. You know, you've got him, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Bobby Lashley, you've got Bayley. Rhea hovers somewhere between heel and face. Charlotte, I mean, who's the heel? We're going to talk about that match, but who's the heel? Who's the face in that one? I'm having a little problem with wrestling not being able to have a clearly defined heel. It just doesn't seem like they know how to have a clearly defined heel these days, but that's another issue for another show. As far as this match, though, and with this grading scale, it's different because, you know, when we were doing the letter grades, you could go B, and if it wasn't quite B, you could say, okay, B minus. So I found this one somewhere between superb and pay-per-view quality, more towards pay-per-view quality, because I was entertained by the match itself. I thought the work itself was good, even though I wasn't invested in it and didn't really care about it. I thought these guys put on a good show, a good match. So I'm going to go pay-per-view worthy because unlike a lot of the other wrestlers I mentioned in one of my previous reviews, I felt like they were mailing it in. I did not feel like Kevin Owens and Sammy mailed it in. I felt like they did what they always do when they wrestle each other. They left it out there and gave us an entertaining show. So I'll go pay-per-view quality.
Agreed. Yeah. I could tell before the match even started, the facials when they were looking at each other. I was like, okay, they're gonna go because they just have it in their minds. It doesn't matter what the stage is, where we are on the card. We're gonna be the best damn match on the card, and then to me, they were. It is what it is. Following that, as you spoke about, was the Raw Women's Championship match: Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. Well, I guess I got the prediction right if you're really going the technical route, because Charlotte did win by disqualification. This match, this feud has all the potential in the world to be a Austin Rock, to be a Taker, Shawn Michaels type deal. You got two women, two generational women that one of them changed her entire look because she was told time and time again that she looked just like Charlotte Flair. So it only made sense that these two would have this feud. It's like, whether people like this feud or not, it's the same kind of deal. When you got a Brock Lesnar and a Goldberg, same type of build, they're literally the same size. Okay, so they got to face each other. These two women, though, have had they had the best WrestleMania match at the Pandemic Mania, a book called Performance Center Mania. They had the best match. So and then a few weeks later they had a quality match at TakeOver. So and that's why I was confused. I get it. SmackDown has to have a Hell in a Cell. Raw has to have a Hell in a Cell. But that's not what Hell in a Cell is about. You don't just do the by the numbers. It's not a by the numbers type of match. It's a, hey, these two have had this history. It's been built up for years, and it has. This should have been a balls to the wall, let's kill each other type of match. And they didn't do it. Instead, this was like two women having the biggest pillow tickle fight I've ever seen. Okay? This was weak. And I don't know what's happened to Rhea. And I don't want to say I'm losing her, but something with how they're booking her on Raw. There's a disconnect, and her selling tonight, I didn't care for. I hate to do this, I really do. And that finish, Lord have mercy, that's the disqualification now. You drop somebody into the table, and that's it. This was some old bullshit, okay? Straight up bullshit. So I thought like this should have been something that we should be talking about 10 years from now. Like, man, that epic Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley feud, remember that? Like Austin and Rock? No, instead we're getting some old goofy ass shit that needs to stop. Now. Rob, go ahead.
Well, I liked it a little bit better than you did, but I agree with a lot of the points you made. These ladies tore it down at WrestleMania 36. I mean, to me, the best match, there were two nights of WrestleMania, and to me, they had the best match of the entire weekend. And this feud, if you call it that, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's ran its course. You had talked about why they didn't have this in the cell. I guess they're just not ready to end this feud yet, because when you put them in Hell in the Cell, there's no disqualification. So you couldn't have had the finish that you had tonight in order to keep this feud going. How do you get disqualified in Hell in the Cell? There's no way you can do that. Obviously, they want to continue this thing. So, but that ending was so weak. Like you said, slamming someone into a table, that gets you disqualified now? When did that happen? Did that just start tonight? I didn't buy that at all. So for me, what I thought was a decent match, what I thought was hovering towards pay-per-view quality, but still for me in TV quality, well, man, I had to lower it down. And man, I hate to do this because I have to call it middle of the road, even though I felt it was above middle of the road. But since to me, the ending, even though the ending is something like we would see on Raw or SmackDown, I just thought that was so bad that I had to take it down. So for me, middle of the road, I expect so much more from these ladies.
Okay.
You're nicer
I think
than
for
me.
this, I better get my fireball going because this is the reason I'm wearing my ECW hat, my war hat. It was because of this match. So I got to take a shot for this match. Okay. Alrighty. For those who listen to my show, The Countdown, I had an episode of WrestleMania non-main events that both these gentlemen were my guests on. I named this match in that countdown. I believe I had it 10th as far as non-WrestleMania main events. It was a classic that they had. Great match. They stole the whole weekend. Hands down, they were the best match that whole weekend. This feud has had fire and anger, which deserves the cage. If there was any match tonight that really I was feeling the hate that needed the cage, it was this. And they didn't. They decided to put other people in it. One I get, the other I don't. This match was disappointing. It was extremely disappointing. And to quote DaReaL Big E, I hate to do this, but I got no choice. Once again, say it loud and say it proud. This, unfortunately, the biggest unfortunate,
Oh,
but this was a
man.
fucking F. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Those two can go far better. And it's funny. Real Biggie, you said something that I sat here and said to myself. Are they having a pillow fight? I sat here and said it. That's how it looked. It looked like a damn pillow fight. I was expecting the Miller Lite cat fight girls to be out there at this point. It was like a pillow fight. Rhea, her
Yes.
selling, I don't know what's going on with Rhea. Something is happening. She can go, but lately you're seeing a decline. Like Bianca, is it too much too soon? Can she not take this? Can she not handle this? And I'm worried because I love Rhea.
Keep in mind, this is without the fans.
I
Now,
know.
if you're
I know.
struggling with LED boards,
I know.
I mean, how are you gonna fare with people actually at ringside
Maybe she
bantering you,
needs the
saying
fans
shit?
there.
Maybe
she needs them. Maybe she needs them. She may be one of those that absolutely needs the fan presence there. But this was so disappointing. And that damn ending. Now, I don't think she was slammed into the table. I think what happened was that tarp thing that they have, she picked it up and threw it at her and used it as a weapon, which that's disqualification. You're using a weapon. So that's what happened. Now,
man.
Obviously, if this is Hell in a Cell, that would not happen. But to do that ending in what I thought was going to be match of the night, that's why I made this an F. That should have been match of the night, and you brutalized them with it was already maybe going to be middle of the road, but then they did that damn ending. So I'm sorry. We're going to obviously see this match again. I honestly think they're going to become a team because what Charlotte said later, now you're learning. And I think that she's going to start somewhere down the line training her as like her pupil or something. But I don't know what's going on with Rhea, but something is wrong here. And it seems like they don't know what to do with her. And the crowd doesn't seem to know what to make of her. Is she a heel? Is she a face? What is she? I love her. I don't care. But she doesn't seem more like a face. After this, she's more like a heel. So I don't know. I just know I didn't enjoy it. I'm disappointed. I'm really fucking pissed off. And that's why I gave this an F. A DQ, seriously, what the fuck?
Real quickly, I'm curious to see what happens for some of these wrestlers when we have live audiences back. Because obviously the Thunderdome, WWE instructs you, cheer this wrestler, boo this wrestler. they tell you what to do before the show even starts. But obviously, with the live crowd, you can't do that. You're going to get an actual natural reaction. And I'm curious to see what they think of Rhea. I'm curious to see what they think of some of these other wrestlers. Do they like, I mean, is Bianca as over as WWE has believed she is? They've put the strap on her. Is Rhea as over with the crowd as WWE thinks she is? It's all going to be interesting at the next pay-per-view when they have a live crowd.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 1000%. And honestly, right now, I think Rhea would get booed. I think Bianca would get a mixed reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Charlotte would get cheered. I honestly do. Bayley damn sure would get cheered.
She's supposed to be a heel.
She's supposed to be. But at the end of the day, the way the crowd works these days is we're going to go with who we believe in. And right now, we believe in Charlotte. We believe in Bayley. We believe in, and honestly, I think Drew would get booed. I don't even dislike Drew, but it's the fact that he's been in so many main events, and people don't, the marks, they don't like that shit when you be in the main event too much.
So you think he'd get the Cena Roman treatment?
Yeah, and I'm not even saying he's getting that, because I think he's earned the right to be there. But it's almost like it's the New York Yankees effect. You're always in the damn championship. I'm tired of seeing you. I just want something different at this point, and that's all it is really with Drew. And since we're there. Main event, Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. This was main event worthy. This made sense to be in Hell in a Cell. If it were up to me, this would be the only Hell in a Cell match. The whole card. There's nothing else. If I couldn't do Rhea and Charlotte, this would have been it. This would have been the only one I did. Now, the execution, I mean, this match wasn't bad. I don't know how to. Now I'm trying to think. Now that we've talked about how a live crowd would react to this match, I think they would have been into this, and I think they would have hated the finish. Even though, in my opinion, the right man won, the finish was kind of it's. Look, you got two big guys like this. I need a big finish. Okay, period. And to have a pay-per-view with two matches that ended the same, that just does not go well with me. And if I feel that way, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Bobby Lashley rolling up Drew McIntyre to end the match because MVP, old crippled ass MVP, held his leg. I mean, MVP got his ass whooped in this match too. And I gave it to Drew. Drew took a beating. Kendo stick shots, chair shots. Lashley took some bumps going through tables. I mean, the stuff was here. I think this just goes back to what Rob said earlier. We've had so many Hell in a Cell matches that if you're not throwing somebody off the top, or throwing somebody through the cage, what really can I get up about? That's why I said earlier it's important for the feud to matter. Because if the feud matters, then everything that you do inside that cell is going to matter. So if the feud doesn't matter, you better be trying to kill each other. And there was none of that tonight. All of that was missing. The feud, the brutality. The right man won. Unfortunately, even though the right man won, in my opinion, these matches have been booked too often. We've seen the same match, and then the finish was shit. So it's some more bullshit. Just like this whole fucking card was some more bullshit. Okay, just keeping it real. I wasn't impressed with anything tonight. I mean, I said Sammy and Kevin was the best. That did not mean it was impressive. It was just because it was those two. This whole thing sucked. And as far as I'm concerned, WWE, go fuck yourself. Rob, take it away.
Okay, well, I like the match better than you. I thought this lived up just by a little bit to the Hell in the Cell tradition. These guys got brutal. I mean, both of these guys were marked up. Lashley had some weird abrasion on his left shoulder that happened early in the match. By the end of the match, McIntyre's back was marked up. He got slammed through a table outside the ring. I thought it was physical. The ending was terrible. So this match is somewhere between superb and pay-per-view worthy. So I'm going to give it a superb minus. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm going to go with. I thought this was the match I enjoyed the most on the card. And the good thing about it is one of the stipulations was that if Lashley won, we would not have to see him wrestle McIntyre again. So we know it's the end of this feud. We won't see it again if WWE sticks to what the stipulation was. So I'm good there. But I thought that these guys did what they typically do when these two big guys get in the ring together. They give us, for the most part, they give us good matches. And like I said, the level of brutality in this one just made it into the Hell in the Cell scale as far as how I see it. So for that, once again, I'm going to go superb minus.
Well, obviously not been a fan of Bobby. I love Drew. Not shocked. I wanted Drew to win. Not shocked Bobby won. It had the brutality that you would expect from a Hell in the Cell. So props on that. This match was going in a good direction. Finally, something was going in a good direction because the whole night only went in one direction, down a toilet. This was going in a good direction until we got to the end. And actually, it was even a little bit before that. Once the ref got knocked out by the chair, I sat here and said what was going to happen. Okay, the other ref has to come in now. Okay, MVP's out there. Okay, MVP's going to get involved into the cage. He's going to stop a count. And in the end, he's going to cause a victory for Bobby Lashley. And then I see Drew planting him on the outside, basically putting him into position on the outside. And at that moment, I'm just paying attention to what corner Drew is standing in because I'm waiting for MVP to do some bullshit. And he does some bullshit, which is ironic because that's what I'm giving this. It was some bullshit. And the match to me was over as soon as the ref got hit with the chair. At that moment, I know what's going to happen. I plotted the whole darn thing out, man. It was ridiculous. The match was going in a good direction, and then they fucking ruined it. And then they ruined it. And I don't mean ruin it with Bobby winning. Ruined it with all the BS of MVP. Ruined it with me actually seeing that was about to occur and me already knowing what was going to happen. At that point, I started walking away because I already knew what was going to happen. I would walk around and I would see everything happening. So this pay-per-view was shit. It sucked. I was one of the people who was trying to give it some credit, saying there's got to be something to it. But no, this was just fucking shit. And the whole pay-per-view deserves the grade of a fucking F. And I don't even have a match of the night. I have a moment of the night. And it's when some fan in the back behind the broadcasters had some dumb sign that said, if Brock returns, we riot. it made me laugh because it was so stupid. But for me, that was the only moment that I truly enjoyed because it was funny. This pay-per-view was absolute ass. Just bad. And maybe that's why Roman wanted to do his match on SmackDown, because he knew that this pay-per-view was going to be shit and he didn't want his name attached to it. So he's like, put me on SmackDown. I don't want anything to do with that bullshit. So Roman, you get an A. You get you get the highest grade I can give you because you were smart to stay away from this shit. Vince McMahon, WWE, all of you all deserve a big fucking F. Go to hell, whatever you want to. Go fuck yourself, all of it. This was some bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. Roman was like an actor in Hollywood that looked at the script and went, "Oh, y'all got a script? Okay, let me check this out." Get you got here. The fuck? Man, no. No, you know what? I changed my mind. Put me on the pre-show. I do that. You know, I'm good. Man, this lived up to what I thought it was going to be.
You were
some
right.
old bullshit.
You were right.
And I told y'all this weeks ago it was going to be some bullshit.
You were right, man. You were absolutely right. This was some bullshit. I owe you a beer, man. This was some bullshit.
Some bullshit, man. But hey, you know, and this wasn't even like, I always say the bad stuff is where we usually have the most fun. This wasn't even that kind of bad. This was just like
bad.
I'm not having a good time. I'm not going to have a good time. I'm covering this for the sake of the show.
Bingo.
And that's it. You know, trying my hardest to bring some levity, but I don't know if it's working. But I honestly, I don't want to keep y'all here any longer than we have to be. This is, man, they should be ashamed of themselves, as my mom used to say.
Heck of a night to debut the rating system with this bullshit.
Bullshit. Okay. Please don't let this be a reflection of if you're a first time watcher, listener, don't let this be a reflection of our show. Or, you know, I mean, we look, we're a reaction podcast YouTube channel. We only react to what we've been given, and tonight we got some bullshit, like we just said.
He could have written this better.
Yeah.
He could have written this whole show better.
Like I said, there's been movies that look. I akin this to Ready to Rumble. Goddamn it, I was just as much pain watching this as I was watching that.
That's a very fair comparison.
Looking at if I'm checking the watch, like, man, how long we got to go? This hurts. Like the liquor was poured at the first match. Okay.
Oh, the liquor was poured when I had technical difficulties. I didn't even get to a match.
All right. Well, check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. Obviously YouTube. And, you know, normally, well, I did this for this one anyway. I don't know why, but I did the poll on Instagram. And pretty much the poll was on par with the show. Thank you all for who participated in doing the poll, like you always do. Thank you. And make sure you check out our previous shows. God, this show has fried my brain. I'm normally just rattling stuff off. Okay. We have a movie review, Mortal Kombat 1995, because we reviewed the 2021 version. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out NXT in your house, the takeover in your house. And also,
can we watch that one
all
again?
Our previous shows. Yeah, I would love to watch that again. I mean, Jesus. And then coming up next week, we got a retrospective of WrestleMania 26, chosen by MJ Book. And then the following week, we'll be doing the final chapter in the Mortal Kombat movie review.
Oh, Jesus.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So that'll be coming out 2 weeks from now. And I guess in July, we can look forward to Money in the Bank, July 18th. The very first WWE live show in front of a crowd since WrestleMania. So we'll have that to look forward to. And I'm guessing the shows after that will be in front of a crowd as well. MJ Book, you want to shout out your podcast, let people know where they can find you, where they can follow you, and where they can listen.
I appreciate it. Of course, I host the Countdown podcast. I count down many topics. I'm on pretty much all the available networks that Third Generation Wrestling is on. You can get me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on YouTube as well. Most recent episode was more movies, my series of movies from the 80s. Finished up 1984, I believe is what it was. Nearly done with this, and then I can get done with some other ones. Got some episodes coming up with you, of course, Eric, and with Rob, and got one coming up with Blake. So if you like countdowns, I'm definitely the show for you. Count down all kinds of topics. Let me know what you want to do also. If you want to let me know on his show, that's fine, but I prefer it on mine so you don't pollute his great show with my shit. So, Please listen in.
Yep, and I look forward to be on there for the next one. Maybe we can even get that one in this week. Ambassador, I know you're hurting. I know you're ready to get off of here. So just
well, hey,
send us home.
Listeners always want to thank you, especially on nights like this when we're not so nice. But you know what? WWE didn't give us a reason to be nice tonight. We keep it real on this podcast, and that's exactly what we did tonight. So we appreciate y'all. Let's hear from you. And once again, please get vaccinated. We got live shows back, and the reason why we're able to do that is because a lot of people have gotten their vaccinations. We're crushing the virus, and life is slowly getting back to normal. So let's keep it up.
That's right. That's right. Thank you all again. And let us know in the comment section what you all thought about the show. And feel free to email us at thirdgenwrestling@gmail.com for any retrospective recommendations. We thank you all again. Take care. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Take care, everybody. We'll speak to y'all again next week.